Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Jay. Today on Notes of November, we're going to be talking about helicoptering parents and parenting styles. And specifically, I want to talk about this because I honestly feel like this is a topic where a lot of people have different opinions on, and I'm doing my homework while I'm doing this video. Yeah, I'm not using no script, no nothing, but yeah. First, I want to talk about what is parenting and different parenting styles. So, we all know parenting is taking care of another child. You birth your child, taking care of your child. Having custody over your child, whether it's the father or the mother or both. It could also be a sibling. Um, yeah, parenting comes in different shapes and forms. There's parenting styles, there's foster cares, stuff like that. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty of parenting. We're going to be talking about parenting styles because I know a lot of parents have different parenting styles when it comes to their daughters or their sons, right? So there is helicoptering parenting. There is another parenting style where um, let me look up the other parenting style. Okay, so I looked it up. Okay, so the first one is authoritative parenting style. Authoritative parenting style is considered the ideal style where it's a combination of warmth, flexibility, while it's still making it clear that parents are in charge. Children of authoritative parents know what is expected of them. Their parents explain reasonings for the rules and consequences. And an example of an authoritative parenting style is authoritative parents have more family meals where the parents model eating behaviors. Rather than opposing strict restrictions, the parents will include the children in meal preparation. Then the second parenting style is permissive parenting style. Permissive parenting style might pride themselves on being their child's best friend. This style actually would it's a pro and con type of parenting in my like in my view when I'm seeing that on social media. These parents are warm, nurturing, with open communication. They're actively involved in the children's emotional well-being. They also have low expectations and use discipline sparingly. Permissive parents let children make their own choices, but also bail them out if it doesn't go well. That's the pros and the cons of a permissive parenting style. And you might be wondering what is an example. When it comes to food, permissive parents might have lax rules. They allow the children to choose what they want, even if it means the parent make a special meal. This could lead to picky eating and unhealthy diet choices. The third parenting style is authoritarian parenting style. I don't know if I said that right. Authoritarian parenting uses strict rules, high standards, and punishment to regulate the child's behavior. Authoritarian parents have high expectations and are not flexible on them. The children might not even know a rule is in place until they're punished for breaking it. And if you guys want to know what's an example of an authoritarian parenting style, at meal times, authoritarian parents might have enforced rules such as the children eating the same meal as everyone else or finishing everything on their plate. However, the family is unlikely to discuss what they eat, the certain foods, and how they fit into their culture or affect the child's health. Now, um, we're on to the fourth one. These are four types. Neglectful parenting style. This one, no, okay. Neglectful parents fulfill the child's basic needs, but they pay little attention to the child. These parents tend to offer minimal nurturing and have few expectations or limitations for their child. It's not always conscious choices parents make, but it can be forced by circumstance, such as working, late shifts, single parenting, mental health concerns, or overwhelmed family troubles. Now, it's an example of a neglectful parenting style. I hope you guys don't do this. Parents who are uninvolved might not buy groceries or plan meals consistently. That could leave the child concerned about what they need to eat. It could lead to them being preoccupied with food, and children who had neglectful parents would often overeat and will become overweight. So these are just 4 different types of parenting styles. There's more. Um, there's more parenting styles. Um, there's charts and everything like that. But just to get you guys familiar with the different parenting styles and the 4 types of parenting styles. So now we discussed that. Um, honestly, let's discuss how these parenting styles in your, for example, your 20s or your 21s, how as a mother have you been growing up your child, or as a dad have been growing up your child and nurturing them by the age of 5 or by the age as a newborn, and it's time to let go, right? Honestly, let's be real, like let's be a parent here. Let's think as a mom, right? Being a mom, being a dad is hard as it is, right? You're dealing with another grown human being, okay, that has attitude, mood swings, feelings, emotions, you know, accountability. They have things that they need to get done. They need, you know, it would lead to burnout, right? Especially we're living in a society where there's a lot of stress and burnout, and there's a lot of um things that are going on in the society. Yeah, so like I was saying, there's a lot of different um parenting styles, and I honestly feel like um you know, once you get your child, like you obviously are doing this on your own, right? Um or with your partner, right? And the ability to work as a team might be hard. Um fostering, or you know, I typically when I talk about a specific parenting style, and I don't think I mentioned it, we're going to um talk about helicoptering parents. So the definition of a helicopter parents are characterized by their over involvement and excessive control in their children's lives, often hindering their independence and resilience. And basically, we're going to be talking about the causes and effects of helicoptering parents, because I feel like that is the most parenting style of this generation, and also gentling parenting. Um, Y and Gen Z are going more into the gentle parenting kind of style, and how that can negatively affect your child. Um, Specifically, let's go back to a helicopter parent. A helicopter parent, as we discussed, is when they're over excessive in their children's lives. An example of a helicopter parenting: a helicopter parent often applies to caregivers who helped high school or college age students with tasks they're capable of doing alone. For instance, calling a professor about poor grades, arranging class schedule, or managing exercise habits. But really, helicopter parenting can. So, some effects of helicopter parenting: many helicopter parents start with good intentions. It's a tricky line to find out to be engaged with our children and their lives. It's so meshed that we lose perspective on what they need. Engaging parenting has also many benefits for a child, such as feelings of love and acceptance, better self confidence, and opportunity to grow. However, the problem is that once parenting becomes governed by fear and decisions based on what might happen, failure and challenges teach kids new skills, and most importantly, teach kids that they can handle future and failure challenges. It also increases anxiety. A study published in the Journal of Child and Family Studies found out that overparenting is associated with higher levels of child anxiety and depression. Researchers found the same for true college students whose parents were over involved. So you may ask yourself, how can I avoid helicopter parenting? So it says here, So, how can a parent care for their children without inhibiting their ability to learn essential life skills? This offers advice. As parents, we often have a very difficult job. As I discussed in the first half of this video, we need to keep one eye on our children, now the stressors, strength, and emotions, and one eye on the adults we are trying to raise. Getting them from here to there involves some suffering for our kids as well for us. So as I discussed in the first half of this video, that parents or caretakers have a very difficult job, and taking care of a child and watching them grow leads them to have a kind of like fixated kind of emotional attachment. So let's go into a different chapter where the four classic parenting styles are authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, neglectful. Each one of these tend to leave its own vibe on you once you're grown, especially in your 20s when you're finding out who are you without your parents running the show. So let's first talk about authority and parents. This is a strict because I said so type, lots of rules, not so much warmth. In this childhood, this could look like feeling anxious, struggling with self-confidence, being extra sensitive, sometimes becoming a rule follower or rebellion, trouble expressing your needs. And as we discuss all these, right, we tend, hold on. Okay, so with the second one, authoritative parents, this is a healthy middle structure, rules, expectations, but also love, explanations, and communication. Later in life, it often shows good emotional regulation, healthy confidence and independence, being comfortable with boundaries, strong relationship, more stable in mental health. Then the third one is permissive parents, the do whatever you want style. This is a lot of love, barely any rules of consistency. Adult effects can be trouble with discipline, wanting freedom, but struggling with responsibility, getting overwhelmed with consequences because you didn't learn them growing up, difficulty respecting others' boundaries, and sometimes having emotional ups and downs because limits weren't modeled. The fourth one, as we discussed in the first half, is neglectful, involvement parents, low support, low rules, very hands off, sometimes very emotional or physically absent. In this childhood, this can show as feeling disconnected from your emotions, difficulty trusting people, hyper independence, like I don't need anybody energy, low self esteem because you didn't really receive affirmations growing up, confusion about identity because you had to raise yourself, and difficulty asking for help. Okay, so now when you look at all four parenting styles side by side, you start to see the bigger picture. Whether you grew up with stricter rules, gentle guidance, no boundaries, or barely any support at all, these early patterns just don't disappear when you hit your 20s or older. They shape how you love, how you argue, how you handle pressure, and even how you talk to yourself when nobody's around. Some of us grew up afraid to make mistakes. Some of us grew up without structure. Some of us learned to raise ourselves way too early. And some of us had parents who balanced with warmth and boundaries, giving us a stronger foundation. But the key part is your upbringing explains you, it doesn't define you. Your 20s are basically the remix era, rebellion era, I guess. Hope not. This age is where you unlearn, relearn, and start choosing which parts of your childhood you're keeping and which ones you're leaving behind.